I love the notion of your thinking about this like a utility. I think it's a great idea. So there will be a certain layer where, because of the underlying public good aspect of it, there will be an utility element to it, like roads, like power, like
Yes.
broadband, for instance.
Yes.
And I think that's something that we are very much able to sort of follow. But I have a question. So one of the things is, this utility viewpoint seems to be fairly advanced in India, right? So we have been able to build this much better than I would say most other countries have been able to. When I go to other countries in general, the viewpoint I get is that the private sector leads in the technology stack, and the government sort of is regulating it or doing stuff there, right? Here it seems to be sort of reverse, right? In terms of saying, look, we will take the lead and we'll try and build all these things, and then on top of that, you guys come and innovate. So I think that's something. Where do you think this flip happened? What is the thinking? Obviously, it might include fact that highly intelligent people like you have devoted so much of your time to this as well. So you're a PhD in computer science, you're a BTech from IIT, and obviously you have a lot of experience coming out of this. And when you got extremely intelligent people sort of coming together under the aegis of somebody like, whatever, Nandan or any other folks in the government being very participatory, you're going to have a very powerful story here as well. But what has been, you think, the kernels that sort of changed the India sort of leapfrogging this world's digital public good ecosystem? Is there a thought process there that you would point to?
So, I mean, I think there is always an element of serendipity in all of these things, and I think that somehow the right whatever ingredients came together, including people who are willing to spend time. And certainly there are many others beyond me. I want to highlight that. And then there is basically the backing of the government. I think some of those things and some of those things and visionaries who are able to think about some of these things. But having said that, you had in the beginning part of your presentation, your question, you had said that the government takes the lead in building things. Okay. And in reality, we want to take the lead in defining the defining the playground, right? We don't want to necessarily build things. We build things where it is necessary to make the playground a level that makes sense for the market. I am not, at least personally, I mean, I think different people, but personally, I am not of the view that the government should build things. We should ask very, very carefully whether we should build something or not, because I do think that actually, I mean, as a former entrepreneur, I do think that the private sector is probably the better place to build things. But having said that, there are certain things that even after they are built should be running in a utility form to actually maximize the return and both in terms of and also the inclusivity and the cost and the benefits to people. So but that's the point about who runs it, how does it work. Those are the things that matter. I don't necessarily think that building is the job of the government. I personally don't believe that necessarily the focus of the government, but the setting of the rules for the playground and the definition of the interfaces with which people work, right? That I think certainly policy backing to those kinds of things does make a difference. And I think that in India, we've had the good fortune, and I think that's the right word to that this has happened, and the vision of people who have made it happen. I think that, and I think that while I think that there certainly the reason why many people have spent time in helping defining some of these things is because they have seen that the government, and there is actually, by doing these kinds of things, you can make change. And I think part of it is also that success breeds confidence. Once you are actually able to pull some of these things out as an ecosystem and not as an individual, the ability to say, why can't things be better in other domains comes into play.